Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. In the previous class of the Econometrics 1, we studied that it is necessary to gauge the statistical significance of the coefficient estimated through ordinary least square. And we stated that the statistical significance of the coefficient estimated is gauged through the standard error tests. And again we stated that there are various types of standard error tests, or they use standard error in their testing procedure, and we listed 4 types of the test that we will employ to assess the statistical significance of the coefficient estimated. These tests were t-test, z-test, standard error test, confidence interval test, p-value test, and for the overall significance we will use the f-test. Today we will study the first test, that is t or z test, that are called standard error test. These are parametric tests as they follow the normal distribution. The one there was different. If we have the population variance and standard deviation are known, then we will use Z test, or if the number of observations are greater than 30, then we also will use the Z test. If the population variance and standard deviation are unknown and the sample size is less than 30, then we will use the t-test to gauge the statistical significance of the coefficient estimated. We start the standard error test, t-test and z-test. We will study the procedure of conducting these tests to gauge the statistical significance of the coefficient estimated. Since OLS estimates of beta naught and beta 1 are obtained from sample observation of x and y, the sampling error will persist in all estimates. Of course, previously we studied that the estimates of beta naught cap and beta 1 cap are obtained through sample observation, and from the population we can draw n number of samples, thousands of samples, and the value of beta naught and beta 1 vary from sample to sample. So we stated that the beta naught and cap and beta 1 cap are variable that are normally distributed around the value of the population parameter beta naught and beta 1. So how much the beta naught cap and beta 1 cap are representative of the beta 1 and beta naught will gauge through statistical test of significance. It is necessary to apply the test of significance to measure the error and to establish the degree of confidence in the validity of the estimates. The standard error test T and Z test here we will use to decide that the estimate beta naught and beta 1 are significantly different from 0. In the previous lecture we stated that if they are different from 0, if they are not equal to 0, it means that they have some value positive or negative. It means that these values are statistically significant. Are the coefficient are statistically significant or not? To evaluate the beta naught and beta 1 by t-test, we assume that the population variance and standard deviation are unknown and the sample size is also less than 30. That is full stop. Like every hypothesis testing, these T and Z tests also have 6 steps, which are explained as following. These tests you have studied previously many times with the statistic 2 and statistic 1 in the chapters of hypothesis testing, and these are the similar steps that you previous have been came across. So we have the model where there are two variable, the one is dependent variable and other is independent variable. X is independent variable, Y is dependent variable, and our population regression function is y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x plus mu, and the estimated regression function is y cap is equal to beta naught and beta naught cap plus beta 1 cap x plus e. Now we have estimated these two coefficients, the slope coefficient and the intercept coefficient, and we want to gauge their statistical significance. For example, what is statistical significance? Let me say we want to gauge the statistical significance of beta 1 cap, that if beta 1 cap is equal to 0 or not. If it is proved that beta 1 cap is equal to 0, it means that beta 1 cap x, that is independent variable coefficient and independent variable, has no effect on the y. That's why we state that it will be a statistically significant if it is proved that beta 1 cap is equal to 0. If beta 1 cap is equal to 0 is not proved, the hypothesis is rejected, then we say that beta 1 cap has value that is other than 0. It means that it has some positive or negative value, and the x independent variable has some impact on the y. We state that x or beta 1 cap is statistically significant in explaining the dependent variable. Step 1. The foremost step in the every hypothesis testing procedure is to formulate the null and alternate hypothesis. What will be the null and alternate hypothesis? In regression, in estimation the coefficient of regression beta naught and beta cap, usually our null hypothesis is that h naught beta 1 is equal to 0. Why we state it? We state it that beta 1 cap is derived from that population in which the x variable has no impact on y variable. So the beta 1 cap, the population parameter, will be equal to 0 if x doesn't affect the y. And the alternate hypothesis, we will test the null hypothesis through sample data. We will collect the data, we will collect the evidence against the null hypothesis and try to reject the null hypothesis. Through evidence, through data, we will establish the fact that we want to reject the null hypothesis, and if we reject the null hypothesis, then we have an alternate hypothesis that we will have to accept. Now we study from the slide. Step 1. Formulate the null and alternate hypothesis. The researcher first state the hypothesis to test the basic hypothesis with two-tailed test and are formulated as following. So basically we will formulate two-tailed test and we will distinguish between two-tailed and one-tailed test a step ahead. Here we see that the null hypothesis h naught is that beta 1 is equal to 0, mean that beta 1 cap is estimated from the population where x1 has no significant impact on the y. If this hypothesis is proved, as it is stated that beta 1 is equal to 0, means if proved then the coefficient will have insignificant statistically and variable x has no impact on the y. If through data we could not able to reject the h naught and we have to accept the h naught, it means that beta 1 is equal to 0. It means beta 1 cap is estimated from the sample that is taken from that population where x has no impact on the y. Now basically our objective hypothesis is null hypothesis. This is a criterion hypothesis that we want to reject. mean that we want to reject the null hypothesis, and for the rejection of the null hypothesis we will collect evidence through sample data. The alternate hypothesis is that HA beta 1 is equal to not 0. If null hypothesis is rejected, then there is alternate hypothesis that we have to accept. One thing you must keep in mind, that we are not accepting or rejecting the alternate hypothesis. We are rejecting the null hypothesis. Of course, there will be no, we are helpless if we reject the null hypothesis. We have to accept null hypothesis. But our major hypothesis is null hypothesis. It states that the coefficient is not equal to 0. Hence, the beta 1 is statistically significant and the variable do impact y, variable x do impact y. But it is two-tail test. As beta naught is not equal to 0, it means that beta 1 may be positive or negative. Mean that it is two-tail test. We have doesn't stated that if beta 1 is not equal to 0, if null hypothesis is rejected, then what will be the state of the beta 1 if it is less than 0 or greater than 0. Through null hypothesis here we stated that the beta 1 is either negative or positive, but it is not equal to 0. Thus it is called two-tailed hypothesis. There may be a single-tailed hypothesis, which are unidirectional hypothesis. The hypothesis can be formulated with a unidirectional test when we have sufficient knowledge about the relationship between x and y variable. Yes, we can formulate the unidirectional hypothesis, but only in that case we can formulate the unidirectional hypothesis when we have in-depth insightness about the relationship between x and y variable. Let me suppose we give an example of this. That suppose that x is price while y is quantity demand, where we know that quantity demand is inversely related to the price of commodity. Mean price increases, quantity demand decreases, price decreases, quantity demand increases. And from here we have estimated this quantity demand function. So we know that here the beta 1 cap will always negative as beta 1 cap will be less than 0. Here the coefficient of relationship between price and quantity demand will always be negative, because there is an inverse relationship between the price and quantity demand, right? So here we rule out the possibility of beta 1 cap being positive. Beta 1 cap cannot be positive because price and quantity demand never have the positive relationship, and price and quantity demand will always have inverse and negative relationship. So here we will use the unidirectional hypothesis to test the significance of the coefficient. Here the null hypothesis H naught is beta 1 is equal to 0. The same hypothesis, alternate hypothesis is beta 1 is less than 0. If null hypothesis is rejected in this case, the alternate hypothesis will automatically be accepted, that beta 1 if not equal to 0, it is less than 0. Basically in hypothesis testing we use and gather the evidence through sample data to reject or accept the null hypothesis. Again we stated that our objective hypothesis is null hypothesis, and our objective is to reject the null hypothesis. And from where we get the data? We get the data from sample data, and through sample data we extract the evidence against the null hypothesis to reject the null hypothesis. If H naught is rejected, then there will be no option except to accept the alternate hypothesis. We have formulated the null and alternate hypothesis. For our analysis we have formulated the bidirectional hypothesis, where H naught is, so our H naught is that beta 1 is equal to 0, and alternate hypothesis is beta 1 is not equal to 0, we use bidirectional hypothesis here. Step 2. Select the appropriate level of significance alpha. Alpha is the level of significance is set because we don't want to claim a relationship exists when it doesn't exist. The alpha defines the strength of evidence in probabilistic terms. Alpha shows that the test will produce statistically significant result when null hypothesis is correct. Now, the second step is we have to have to decide about the level of significance alpha. And what is alpha? Alpha is the probability of type 1 error. What is type 1 error? Type 1 error is that when we reject a true null hypothesis. Rejecting a true null hypothesis will be type 1 error. So alpha is the probability of type 1 error. For example, if type 1 error can be stated that if we conduct the hypothesis testing 100 times and if alpha is 0.5, that is 5%, then out of 100 times, 5 times we will reject a true null hypothesis. There is 5% chance that mistakenly we will reject a true hypothesis, the hypothesis which have to be accepted, and we reject it. So rejecting the true null hypothesis is called type 1 error and it is stated by alpha. Alpha is the significance, is the level of significance, is the probability of type 1 error. Type 2 error, accepting the false H naught, and it is shown by 1 minus alpha, and that is the probability of type 2 error. Mean that if H naught is to be rejected, that is H naught is not true, and we accept the H naught, and that is termed as type 2 error, and the probability of type 2 error is 1 minus alpha. 5% level of significance mean that there is 5% chance of producing a significant result rejecting H naught when null hypothesis is correct. In economics, we use the standard 5% level of significance with alpha by 2 for two tail and alpha for single tail test. When there are two tail, the alpha 5% will divided by 2, and there will be 0.025 alpha on the right tail, and there will be 0.025 alpha on the left tail. 2.5% on the right and 2.5% will be on the left. If there is single tail test, then if it is negative tail test, then the alpha will be 5% on the negative side, and if it is positive tail test, then 5% alpha will be positive size, but it will not be alpha by 2, it will be alpha. So selecting alpha, we optimize the occurrence of type 1 and type 2 error. We want to eliminate, we want to reduce the type 1 error, but we cannot eliminate the type 1 error. Usually the type 1 and type 2 error is a contrast between the type 1 error, accepting a false rejecting a true null hypothesis, and the confidence interval. If you reduce the probability of type 1 error, then the confidence interval will increase or vice versa. Going toward the step 3, select the test statistics that will be used for evaluating the significance of the estimate. Here is, we don't know the population variance and standard deviation, and if we don't know the population standard and deviation and the variance, and our sample size is also less than 30, what will happen? Then we will use t test. If we are known with the population variance and population standard deviation, then we will use the Z test, or our sample size is greater than 30, we also will use the Z test. So we will use t test if the population standard deviation and variance were known, or the sample size was greater than 30, then we will have been using the Z test. The formula for the t test is, this is the formula for t test. T star, that is calculated value of t or empirical value of t, that is equal to beta 1 cap, that is the value of the coefficient that we estimated, minus beta 1. This is the value of the coefficient that we suppose in null hypothesis. And here in our example we suppose that beta 1 is equal to 0, so we will put here beta 1 is equal to 0 divided by standard deviation of beta 1 cap, and the formula is beta 1 cap minus beta 1 divided by the under root of the variance of beta 1 cap. This is the formula for t test. We will calculate the formula empirical value of t from here, and the next stage we will calculate the critical values from the table of the t test, and then we will compare the t star with the t critical that come from the table, and then after the comparison of these both, we will decide about the rejection and acceptance of the null hypothesis. So here the variance of beta 1 cap, variance of beta 1 cap formula is here. Variance of beta 1 cap is equal to population variance, estimated population variance, into 1 divided by summation small xi square, and this estimation of the population variance will come from this formula, where the estimation of population variance is equal to summation ei square divided by n minus k, where e is the estimated residual, n is the number of observation, and k is the number of estimated parameter. These formulas we will derive in the next session of the blue properties of the OLS estimate. Now coming toward the step 4, the step 4 is to set up the critical region, or set up the decision rule for the rejection or acceptance of the null hypothesis. Here we set some rules or critical region for the acceptance or rejection of the null hypothesis. For example, we say that null hypothesis will be rejected if the calculated value that we have calculated in the step 3 falls between this, right? Sorry, we will accept here. This is for the acceptance of the null hypothesis. We will accept the null hypothesis if the value of t is greater than minus 1.96 or less than plus 1.96. If the value lies between minus 1.96 and plus 1.96, the t value, the empirical t value, we then reject the accept the null hypothesis. If it fall beyond these limits, then we will reject the null hypothesis. The decision rule for specific test depend upon the 3 factors, right? Which type of test, or which type of critical region, or what will be the critical region, depend upon 3 factors. Number 1, your alternate hypothesis. If your alternate hypothesis is 2-tell, then you will use alpha by 2 to calculate the critical value from the table, because you are using both sides, 2-tell test. The type of test statistics mean that you are using t test or z test or any other type of statistic. And the third one is level of significance, alpha. For different alpha we will have different critical region. Mean alpha 5%, for alpha 10% we have a different critical region as compared to alpha 5%. Suppose our HA, that is alternate hypothesis, is 2-tell, right, and we use t statistic to test the significance while we set alpha at 5%, then the critical region or rejection region will be as following. These are the condition that we are using t statistics, we are using 2-tell test, and we are using 5% alpha. We will go to the table of the t statistics you have previously gone through, and we will see here the critical region with these given information, and here we have seen from the table that the critical region are beyond plus 1.96 are from beyond negative 1.96. So if the so here critical region is, no, this is not a critical region. This is where we have to accept the null hypothesis. This is this area. This is the critical region, right? This is the critical region. So here is the critical region. If t is less than 1.96, if t is less than 1.96, mean that t falls beyond this point, right? If t is less than 1.96, it means t fall over here. This is critical region. If t falls here, we will reject H naught. Again, we state that if t is greater than plus 1.96, here is 1.96, and if t falls in this critical region, this is greater than plus 1.96, if t fall here, we will reject H naught. So the critical region are that area where if the empirical t value, t star value falls, we will reject null hypothesis. And again, if t falls here in this area, it means that if the value of t is greater than minus 1.96, right, and less than plus 1.96, in this area if t fall, what will happen? We will accept the null hypothesis. So we calculated these critical region on the basis of alpha 0.05, mean 5% alpha with 2 tail test. This alpha with negative side alpha will be 0.025, again for the positive side will be 0.025. Again, this is a symmetric bell shaped normal distribution curve. So we have set up the rejection acceptance criteria, and we stated that if the value of calculated t star value falls in the critical region, we will reject null hypothesis. And what are the critical region? We state that if t is less than 1.96, here we will reject the null hypothesis, or if t is greater than 1.96, here we will reject the null hypothesis. And if t falls between them, means that the negative 1.96 is less than equal to t, and t is less than equal to plus 1.96. if t fall here, we will accept the null hypothesis. Step 5, calculate the value of t star, that is the empirical value of t statistic, by using the following formula. We use this formula: t star is equal to beta 1 cap, the value of the estimated coefficient, minus beta 1, that is hypothesized value of the beta 1 that we have used in null hypothesis, divided by the standard error of the beta 1 cap. And standard error is the under root of the variance of the beta 1 cap. We are calculating the variance of the beta 1 cap is equal to estimated population variance into 1 minus summation xi square, and the estimated population variance is summation ei square divided by n minus k. Now we have calculated the t star and we have the critical region. We have to decide about we have to make inferences about the acceptance and rejection of the null hypothesis. Make inferences about the rejection or acceptance of the null hypothesis. If the value of t lies in this area, mean that the t star is greater than negative 1.96 and less than positive 1.96, we accept null hypothesis and state that beta 1 is statistically insignificant. Here we accept null hypothesis and we state that beta 1 is equal to 0, that beta 1 cap, from where the beta 1 cap is derived from the population parameter, is equal to 0. It means x and y has no relationship. X is insignificant in explaining the y. Again, if the value of t is less than minus 1.96, it means less than minus 1.96 mean that the value of t lies in this area, right? And or the value of t is greater than plus 1.96, it's mean that value of the t lies in this area. If the value of t is less than 1.96 or greater than 1.96, we reject the h naught. Or if the absolute value of t, now we generalized our criteria. If the absolute value of t is less than absolute value of t, we accept h naught. And state that the value of beta 1 is 0 and it is statistically insignificant, right? Again, if we state that if t star absolute value is greater than the critical values absolute value, then we reject the h naught and we state that the coefficient estimated are statistically significant. Now from the formula we conclude something more about the decision criteria. Look at here, we see that this beta 1, we assume that this beta 1 is equal to 0. Now we can put the value of this beta 1 0, it's mean beta 1 cap divided by standard error of beta 1 cap. Now from here we can state that if t value is greater than 2, absolute value of t is greater than 2, from the reduction criteria we see here that if the absolute value of t is greater than 2, mean that it will be greater than negative 1.96 and it will be greater than the plus 1.96, we will reject h naught. Mean that for the rejection of h naught, the t value must be greater than 2. If t is greater than 2, absolute value of t is greater than 2, we can also reject h naught. From the comparison of the coefficient value and the standard error value, we can say that if the coefficient value is at least twice of standard error or more than twice of the standard error, we will reject h naught. If it is less than twice of the standard error, we will accept h naught. Again, if standard error of beta 1 cap is less than half of the parameter estimated beta 1 cap, we will reject h naught. If standard error of beta 1 cap is greater than half of the parameter value of the coefficient beta 1 cap, we will accept h naught. So this was the basic statistical significance test. Inshallah we will meet in the next class with the confidence interval test. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.